In a world, 4 friends, 1 mission, to bring freedom to everyone involved.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Doing a thing for the podcast.
Dude, just say the name.
Fine. It's the Freedom Friends Podcast.
It's pretty solid.
That was like my top 5 coffees I've ever had. I think it was fucking good, man.
I make them at the house.
God. Fuck. The thing is, though, is if I had that capability, it would spoil me on other coffee. Like, I would just be, I couldn't go anywhere.
No, it's straight up. When you own a good machine where it's actually making good coffee, not like, hey, I've got an espresso machine. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the pods.
Yeah, I do. I get it. But when you have a good machine and it's grinding it fresh and it's accurate and you're the right pressure and it's making good coffee, and then you know how to put the rest together, going to get anything through a drive-through or
it's just lackluster, man.
Are just like,
John, what did I text you within like a day of leaving?
Yeah, he's like, I fucking miss good coffee.
Yeah, it's true, man. And like, don't get me wrong, like Dunkin' right now has that cookie butter cold foam.
It's only good because those crumbles are on top. I went and tried it.
It's fucking wonderful.
It's okay.
Yeah, but there's probably 48 grams of sugar per cup.
Well,
no, the problem is that if you drink it and you don't get into the cookie crumble part, it's just iced coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I could just make it at home and crack open one of the Biscoff cookies that I have sitting in the
That's all it is, yeah.
And just eat that while I drink good coffee. And
it's like a weird, like, but the cold foam on it is like a cinnamon cold foam too or something. Like it's a brown sugar or some shit. I don't know. It's fucking good.
But it was tasty.
Cinnamon
but again, it comes
brown
down
sugar
to
are very drastically different flavors.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah, I think it's a cinnamon brown sugar cold foam with the cookie on it.
That after flavor that like a Biscoff cookie has, like a speculoos cookie, it's that in a foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. The problem is it does come down to it's good,
but
when I have the ability to make the quality that I do at my house,
right,
everything else just seems.
Speaking of making quality at the house, I'm assuming we're live, right, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Speaking of making quality at the house, I broke down about a pellet smoker this weekend, and
what'd you smoke so far?
Nothing yet. I have to do the burn off still.
Oh,
I want to do a burn off on it.
Oh, speaking of that,
slacker.
fuck, I can't even. I am so sorry, guys. I have pork belly burn ends in the fridge that we got to heat up for you guys. I made yesterday.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal.
I'm actually thinking about making some. Matt, who's been on the show, we're gonna do a Friendsgiving this week. And
so when you put it in the pan with the barbecue, and most people do honey.
Yeah,
we did Vermont maple syrup.
Yep, that'll do it.
Okay,
bro.
That's I don't think you really need to heat those up. I'll eat that cold, man.
That's a fucking game changer,
fucking
guys.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
They're really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was happy with it.
Okay, so after this, between this and the debate,
we're busting those out.
I fucks with that.
I'm sorry, I forgot. My bad.
I got to call my pellet smoker company and ask them how the fuck to fix my smoker.
Yeah,
because it won't turn on.
Yours is a Rectech, right?
Yeah, but they're supposed to apparently have like a lifetime warranty on them. So.
Yeah.
And I like my little bullhorn handles.
Yep.
Well, no, Rectech has the lifetime, and so does Traeger, and then like Green Mountain and Pit Boss and all those have like 3-year warranties.
I've abused mine.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm pretty sure that's why mine doesn't turn on anymore. I think I literally just used mine to the point of it was like,
it's just
you're
like,
going to need to update this. It was just because I made everything on it. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was like pizza, fucking standard food. Everything went on that smoker.
Fucking A. As it should.
Have you guys tried cookies?
I haven't done the smoked cookie thing yet.
The next up for my non-meat is for cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I'm about to dive fucking full out into it like a World War II historian for meat.
What I will say though is my go-to cheater move when it was just like I was going to go home to watch a movie or whatever is HEB sells that brisket queso.
Yes.
It's like already in the aluminum.
You just throw the whole bitch in there.
And you just threw it in there and turned it to heat and just hit go and then poured like half a beer in it for the liquid and then.
Because I did that because I usually make those in the oven. I've done
when
it.
you have a smoker.
But exactly. So
it's the same thing.
Speaking of which,
smoky.
Do you still want that?
Yep.
Okay. It's in the backyard.
Yep. Dave and I were just talking. I got to come by and pick that up so I can hook up my cold smoker.
Whenever you are ready,
because
pal.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is cheese. And the second thing I'm going to do is cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to smoke cigars.
I want some
smoked cigars.
What kind of smoked cheese? I'm a big fan of smoked Gouda myself.
I love smoked Gouda. I'm just that's just like my trial run to figure it out. Because even if I fuck it up, it's cheese. It still tastes good.
Like get like a good like a Vermont cheddar or something. It's still going to be good cheese.
Right.
Sure.
And then just fucking smoke the shit out of it. But yeah, I'm excited for the cold smoker just because that's the only thing I can't do.
I've seen those cold smoke things too, where the smaller cold smokers and people were doing them to whiskey glasses.
Yeah.
Because it'll stick to the inside of the glass, and then you make the old fashioned in it, and you have this smoked flavor inside the glass, which is pretty dope.
I fucks with that. Anyways, everybody, welcome to the Freedom Friends podcast, brought to you by warfightertobacco.com. Use that code FTFO. That'll get you a sweet 15% off. Wellness.us for all those CBD needs. Use that code FreedomFriends25. That gets you a quarter off your order over there. And of course, our good friends Icy Tech Coolers. Go to icytech.com for those who get it. Use that code FreedomFriends10. Otherwise, fuck boys.
Yeah.
It's chilly out.
It's not bad.
It's not bad right now.
No.
We recorded early today for good reason, because it's going to be cold as shit here in a little while.
The next couple of days is going to be fucking is not Texas weather.
And you'll notice that there's a wildly attractive individual to my left, because we got Dave Thomas filling in for Scott while he's off gallivanting with the family for the holiday. And
I don't think you can actually gallivant in Nebraska. Like, I think it's just
so he's not only going to Nebraska, he's going to Key West after this, which is prime gallivanting area, I would say.
OPSEC.
Well done, sir.
Speaking of holidays, do you guys know what today is?
Hey, happy Hanukkah, pal.
Thank you.
For the half of you.
I even wore a very appropriate shirt for today.
You did.
I did.
It's fucking awesome.
I respect it.
For those of you that are actually listening to this radio show, he just broke out a shirt that says Jew and then ish in parentheses. So it's
hilarious and appropriate.
It was, yeah.
It's a good Hanukkah shirt for you.
It's a great one.
Yeah. So 8 crazy nights.
Yeah.
You got plans?
No.
Wasn't this described as the back to school holiday? You get like socks and underwear and undershirts and pencils and shit.
Yeah. Some dreidels.
There's some pretty cool games you get to play.
Yeah. A lot of it, there's drinking games involved.
There's a lot of drinking.
Yeah, there's drinking games involved with Hanukkah, which I respect.
Yeah. And Passover, there's a lot that you literally just get shit faced.
At some point, I'm going to go to somebody. I've been invited to Passover like 4 times.
It's so much fun. If they do it right.
And the thing is, I keep like passing on going to Passover. But one of these days, I'll actually.
If they do it right, you end up drinking like.
Just be like, get there, get fucked up, and just be like, cheers to killing Jesus. Woo!
If you do it right, you're supposed to drink, I think, 4 glasses of wine during the meal. That's like kind of mandatory.
Yeah, that's
and then whatever extra
person.
you want.
Because it's scripted, right?
And then towards the end of it, you have scallions, and you literally beat the shit out of the person next to you with scallions. It's all part of it. And it's like, it was funny. Yeah. Like the last time I was at my grandparents for Passover and we did all this, like I think the time previous to that, I was young. And then, so I didn't really remember. And then I was of age and obviously pre-gamed. And then 4 glasses of wine. And we bust out the scallions. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is great. There's fucking shit everywhere. I'm like, this is so much fun.
Huh.
I didn't know you beat each other with onions.
Mm-hmm. There's symbology to it. I can't remember what it is. That's why it's ish.
In my mind,
the term you're looking for is symbolism. What is this symbolism?
Thank you. Thank you.
In my mind, though, I just picture somebody with like a bag of fucking like yellow onions, just fucking like mollywopping motherfuckers, like
fucking soap party.
Symbolism.
Thank you for catching that.
I'm glad we're not the only one. Like David and I snapped
I figured it was going to be Mikey at first, but no.
Symbolism.
Oh man!
I'm also an expert in namiology.
So the scallion smacking, as it's referred, is the custom represents masters whipping Jewish slaves under Pharaoh's rule in Egypt.
They used onions to do that?
Apparently.
They use
economical.
onions now.
I don't think they used them back in the day.
Yeah, bondage around the family isn't really.
Hey, we don't king shame. That's what you gotta do, man.
Fucking l'chaim, bro. Do you? Huh. So it's the week before Christmas, which is always a weird time of year, I think.
The week of nothing's fucking getting done.
Yeah, right. like Jazz and I actually had a conversation about it earlier because he went out to eat with his wife and he was like, "This place is fucking jammed."
Yeah, because nobody's working.
Well, kids aren't in school. People, they genuinely don't give a fuck.
They all did the same thing we did. It was like, it was lunchtime. And it was like, where can we go where we can just drink at lunch?
The restaurant.
So we went to the restaurant and
Yeah.
everybody else was there doing the exact same. There wasn't a table there that didn't have booze on it at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Monday.
Well done.
And
Why
it was
not,
just
man?
every table there had booze on it. And the parking lot was packed. And I was like, yep,
Oh yeah.
Why don't they call it that?
just call it the
Rest-
restaurant.
That's it.
If I ever opened one of those fucking things, that's all I'd call it.
Yeah.
It'd just be,
You wouldn't have to pay a franchise fee on that one.
no,
Yeah.
just the restaurant.
Yeah. It's perfect. He's of course speaking of Twin Peaks, which again I mentioned it to him.
I'm a fan.
Like their food's fucking great.
Yep.
Cheap booze, decent selection of booze because they're owned by a company called Front Burner, which does all kinds of restaurants and shit. Like they own Twin Peaks, they own Whiskey Cake, like which is the craft spot that I used to bartend at that Chaz and I have talked about on the show before. I mean, they're quality ingredients and Mom's Pot Roast.
Yeah,
at
that's good.
fucking at
But their bourbon selection's
dude,
solid. So is their tequila selection. And it's because they're so big now that they're able to do these like single batch selections and shit and get any manufacturers to give them stuff you can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
So
So that's
pretty
how
solid.
Whiskey Cake has its own Eagle Rare. They have like
in
a
all fairness,
Eagle Rare
Buffalo
barrel.
Trace will sell anything to anybody. They don't
Also
really
true.
give a fuck.
True.
But they make good bourbon, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Almost as good as what we're drinking right now, boys. What we got? Little bottle of Horse Soldier on the table tonight.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm a fan. And I like this one. This is my favorite
The
one. out of
copper
the three.
label's the best one.
I agree. The low end.
They have the
low
copper, the
octane.
gold, and the silver is their top ender one. But
The silver
I
one
think
sucks all of the moisture out of my face every time I sip
it's
it.
too spicy.
Yeah. There
And,
is a such thing.
I think their copper label's the best shit that Horse Soldier makes.
Can't confirm.
And that's from Randy?
Rusty.
Rusty.
Rusty. I happened
Yep.
to be here at Warfighter Tobacco earlier this week, or I guess last week, and a gentleman came in to purchase cigars and was like, "Hey, I got something for the boys." So,
No,
Rusty,
I'm a
we
big fan
appreciate
of
you.
Horse Soldier. It's
Horror Soldier.
Soldier.
they make good stuff, but their copper label's the best shit in my opinion. Out of their three lineup, their lowest one is their best bourbon.
I agree.
Which
I
fucking
agree.
good on you. Good on you for making your best bourbon the
Right.
most accessible one. I fucking appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Because they have like that Commander's cask or whatever, like their fucking high end or one or whatever that they only make like 10 bottles a year or whatever the fuck.
I have
There's
not tried
one.
that one.
There's one here in the city. I know where we could go to have it.
Yeah.
They've got it under glass and everything.
Dang.
So stupid.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this one. This one's fucking wonderful.
I just don't want to have to second guess what I'm drinking.
Right?
It's like if I'm going to have the drink, I just want to enjoy it. And I want to be like, is this worth what I just spent? Like,
Yeah. And I know, like, if I get like Jameson Black Barrel again, thank you, Rusty, brought us a bottle of that as well, or Horse Soldier or something familiar to me. I know how good it is, so I don't mind spending the fucking $20-25 it costs in a fucking restaurant, right? Like,
I'm that way with Eagle Rare.
yeah,
I know I'm going to like Eagle Rare every time.
yeah,
Now, I'm also aware that Eagle Rare, because now it just got another up in that New York bourbon, whatever fucking thing that they did.
so now it's gonna fucking double in price again.
It scored a 96 out of 100.
Yeah, it's great fucking bourbon.
It's a good bourbon.
Speaking
The
of that,
problem with that is now everybody's just going to increase the price.
Yep, you're gonna
And
have
so-
the Basil Hayden effect, or not the
Bland's
Bland's effect. Yeah,
So Eagle Rare, which should have been $35 for an amazing fucking bourbon, is now, I mean, I was already paying 50 something for the shit, and now
gonna
it's going to be
bump to
70
90.
something. And I'm,
Yep.
So apparently just everything out of the Buffalo Trace distillery is just going to be like, if you want it, it's $100.
God, they're crushing.
they
They are fucking
literally printing money.
Yeah, they are fucking murdering. Jesus.
But anyways, you said speaking of which,
Yes. So Cigar Aficionado put out their top 25 list.
Oh God.
No, and it's great, right? Because
I have some friends that made top 25, and I'm very happy for them because it's going to do great things for them.
yeah. Oh, 100%. If you get top 10, you get number one cigar and C8, like it's a game changer. For
I
your
also
company.
think it's also interesting how many of those ranks have to do with the fact that you have 6 full page ads a month.
Herein lies what I wanted to talk about, though. So they put this out, I think about 4 days ago is when they started trickling out they do them like 5 or 10 at a time or whatever. If you go on their Facebook page and you look in the comments, it's insane. Like if
It's always a controversy.
but this year I think it's even the worst. Their number one cigar is it's a Cuban, so you can't get it in the States. Like whatever. I mean, it's a good stick, but like okay, I get it.
I think they ought to release two lists.
But so when it comes down to like you look at all these comments and people are realizing that like the majority of the cigars on this list, none of them are new. They've been around for 5, 10, 20, 80 years. Like they've been around.
Yeah.
Right. And they're continually making these lists. And people in the comments are starting to realize, or I don't know if they're realizing or not, but there's speculation in there that it comes down to ad spend.
Jazz just said it.
No,
There's
I know.
6
Well,
full page ads that are in each fucking issue.
And so when you look at the names, the brands that are on the top 25 list, and you pick up any magazine, you count how many ads are in the magazine, like you can kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
There's some I'll never argue with. Like Padron makes the top 25 list every fucking year.
Yeah,
sure.
Every year without fail.
They also have a
have
phenomenal cigar.
Their cigars are some of the best in the fucking world.
Sure.
Like, and honestly, it's all of them.
Yeah.
Their standard series, the 26 series, the 40, the 60,
The 46.
the 46 or the 64 series,
64.
the 47th anniversary, 48th anniversary, 50th anniversary. Like,
Yeah.
Padron just makes
It's a quality
a
product.
fucking good cigar. And the 64, the 26 makes the list every year. Every
And
year without fail. And sometimes both of them are on there. Like they're just that fucking good. And I
Sure.
don't argue with it every time. The only thing that really ever changes like the shape. It'll be like the pyramid was a little bit better this year than the Presidente was last year or whatever.
So number 2 is Rocky Patel. Number 3 is
Let me
David.
guess, the Rocky Patel 60.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because they didn't hammer the dog shit out of that in ad spend or anything.
David off. Number 3. Nicaraguan Diadema. Number 4, Olla de Monterrey. Another Cuban.
But the Epicure,
Elegantes.
the Elegante.
Yeah. 5, Oliva Series V.
Milanio or non-Milanio?
Non-Milanio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That one's actually kind of shocking.
Yeah. I would have figured they'd have gone
number
for the
6.
Milano on that one.
I got nothing on this conversation.
Number 6 is Alec Bradley Black Market.
Eh.
I could pronounce that one.
Number 7, My Father Le Bijou, which the 1922. That's a
The 22
really
Le
good
Bijou
stick.
is actually quite good.
Number 8, Padron 1964.
Mm-hmm.
No argument.
No, makes sense. Number 9, Romeo and Julieta, Reserva Real Nicaraguan, which is, I don't know if I ever had that one actually. Number 10, Arturo Fuente. Like, there's cigars that are out there that are fucking phenomenal that are nowhere near anywhere on this list.
So, Jazz, you were saying that you wish there was 2 lists. Are you thinking like boutique and mainstream?
No,
or?
I think there should be 2 lists. So I think Cigar Aficionado, whose number 1 circulation is in the United States, should not be featuring cigars that are not available in the United States.
Yeah.
There needs to be a domestic list,
Got a worldwide list?
and then there needs to be a global list.
Okay.
So I think you should do a top 25 domestic, meaning the stuff that's actually available in this market. If it's not available in this market, it shouldn't make the fucking list.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing anything other than hurting some brand that can be held domestically. Like, why are you featuring a cigar that 90% of your readers
Yeah.
can't get their hands on?
And I think we talked about this in way earlier episodes, but it's just like when, you see the Chevy Silverado 1500 is the best in class for blah, 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 according to Motor Trend.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, the Ford F-150 is the best in class according to Motor Trend, and the Dodge 1500 is best in class according to Motor Trend. It just depends on who's putting it out, what year it's on it.
What's this class?
It doesn't matter
You know
because
what I mean?
it none of it matters because it's all about ad spend.
Yeah.
Motor Trend isn't just going to be like, oh, hey, Elon Musk, let me review your fucking Tesla truck and put out an article about it.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, yeah, we can put a little spin.
That's right. There's actually,
but if you want like full features, then it's going to cost X.
so there was several years that cigar bloggers, the websites, bugged the shit out of me. They
Yeah.
and it's because they got out of control. And at the time, the RTDA, which was in the IPCPR and whatever. Then they started doing these media days where all these bloggers were allowed to come into the trade show, and they were just in the way. And so you had all these bloggers that were doing all the fucking booths. And so you're sitting there trying to sell product, and you've got these guys sitting around with cameras and microphones and shit, trying to like get these interviews in the middle of a sales day.
Yeah.
So then they cut it down where there was going to be a media day. So it made the show longer because there was going to be this whole day of these media guys, so you were going to make no money. And every single one of these bloggers thought they were going to get free product.
Yeah.
So they're walking around these
you told me about
giant
this.
fucking trade shows.
Yeah.
And this was back before the show got smaller. So there was like 400 or 500 vendors in this fucking hall. So these guys are walking around with, 10, 15 boxes of cigars that they didn't pay for. There's no fucking way they're going to do the reviews because you would have to release 2 reviews a day to get every cigar that you took reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to do it.
Sure.
So then it turned into like, great. So now I'm going to spend all this money just giving you shit
Right.
for no return whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody could do it. You could literally just go and just start a website and you could get a media pass and walk around. It's since trimmed way down, and we're now at the point to where there's like 4 or 5 of them that are legit, and they're very good at what they do.
They're very good.
They give legitimate reviews, and most of the time you cannot buy information for these guys. Like they're going to reach out, or they're going to have bought it from a store or something, or they'll buy it from a store and then they'll reach out and go, "Hey, I bought your cigar at this shop. I really liked it, and I'd like to do a write-up about it. I just want to confirm some information with you." And they confirm like that the regional blend that they're posting is accurate, how old the company is, just general information to make sure that they're not putting out bad info.
Sure.
And almost all of them now do a list.
Yep.
There's an annual that comes out from them. Coop is a good friend of mine. I thoroughly enjoy his reviews. They're very accurate, and he's very honest.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pick up a cigar because he'll do good reviews and bad reviews. Like you'll read stuff and it's just like, he's like, maybe it's worth a stick, but not a box. Which is his nice way of saying like,
Yeah.
But Coop does a good review, and he's very respected, and it's no bullshit, and he does all that kind of stuff. He's one of the ones that survived the storm when there was just too many of them. But their reviews, if you go look at like their top 10, you're not going to get steered wrong. If you buy those couple of sites that are out there, and I'm not going to blow up, but Coop's a friend, so fuck it. You can go check his shit out. William Cooper's reviews, or I think it's called Cooper's
Cigar Coop?
Cigar Coop.
Yeah.
Cigarcoop.com.
He could have been like Cooperstown.
Actually, he's a massive baseball fan.
Yeah, he could have been like Cooper.
He's a huge baseball fan.
He could have been like Cigar Cooperstown.
But it's called Cigar Coop, and he's got a podcast and all sorts of shit. But go read his top 10. I think he actually does a top 20 now. But if he says it's top 10 of the year, it probably is.
Yeah,
like just straight up, at least for what he was able to get access to.
Just a trusted voice.
He's no bullshit, and you can't buy your space.
Yeah,
like you can't buy your review. His reviews are always free. Now you can buy like ad space on his podcast and shit, or his website, but you can't buy your review.
Yeah.
And so find sites like that.
Yeah.
Read those. Now
Speaking
Coop is going to tell you that fucking Padrones are some of the best cigars you're ever going to smoke in your life, because they fucking are. Like,
sure.
Anyways.
Also, you can buy ad space on the Freedom Friends podcast. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anybody out there listening or watching? We're for sale. And we are whores. Just so you know. You could have this Audible chocolate talking about your product. Just hit us up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the definition of shameless?
Fucking A. Speaking of shamelessness, what happened with the Ukrainian guy? Did we get an order on redacted from Ukraine?
I didn't see an order that's getting shipped to the Ukraine, but I don't there has been some more orders that are flowing through, but I don't know if the Ukrainian guy actually bought anything unredacted.
Huh. Just the fact that they're watching. I like that.
But it was definitely somebody from the Ukraine.
That's
so,
hilarious.
yeah,
Man.
I thought it was pretty cool.
That's hilarious. Good to know that Elon's Starlink is working good enough to go to redactedsupply.com. There's a big fuck off button in the middle. It says Freedom Friends. Hit that. Buy some merch. So, that is shameless.
No, that's just a proper segue.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything come through that's shipping to the Ukraine. Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't find something and then...
Yeah.
Because, it's Christmas time, so people are just buying weird shit. So that doesn't mean that he didn't send a message to somebody and was like, I want this one. And
True.
then-
True. So, Dave,
Yo.
you just got back from a long gallivant yourself.
I did.
You want to tell us about your stories?
No, there's not much stories to tell. I mean, I went up, excuse me. I went up to Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and stopped in Missouri on the way home.
So you were like, I'm going to go to the 4 most boring states in the country. And just
Hey. Missouri has Branson.
Oh, you're right. I apologize to the show me state right now.
Just saying.
So you just basically, you saw a lot of corn.
No, corn's not in the ground right now.
Just
Wrong
empty
time.
fields.
Empty fields of nothing.
Yep. Empty fields of nothing. Yeah. No, I did, went up, visited some retailers, did some events, and started in Gardner, made it over to Renegade over in Overland Park, checked that place out. Cool shop. Went from there up to Nebraska and did Capitol and Cigars Lounge, and then ran out to Norfolk to Paul's new shop. Paul was probably within the first 6 months of Warfighter, was probably carrying Warfighter.
Mm-hmm.
Early adopter.
Yeah, he was an early adopter out in Hastings, and opened the new shop up in Norfolk, and so went up there, checked that out. So he's actually building a speakeasy style private members lounge.
Dope.
Yeah. This is going to be RFID access, fingerprint scan, and then triple lock. You push the bookcase in and go into the members lounge, shut it behind you, and call it good.
Huh.
So it's got
I
a
like
pass through fireplace, and so now after that went over to Ames, Iowa, to English Bulldog Cigar Lounge, the newer shop that opened over there, and then down to see the guys at Iowa Cigar. It's the stomping grounds of Mr. Dirk Barrett. He says hi to everybody.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
So yeah, got to run into some people that I wanted to see. Didn't see some people I wanted to see, but that's nature of the business. I mean, it's holiday time frame and everybody's out doing their shit.
Sure.
So Mr. Carter also sends his regards. He says, follow him, you fucking bastard.
Who?
Carter Pendergrass.
I thought I already did.
I don't know. Yeah. And then once I finished in Iowa, I just dropped down to Missouri, spent some time with my mom and her husband. Spent a few days down there.
How's mom doing?
Okay, so I was curious about the Missouri thing because I was like I'm like thinking about the map going like.
Well, yeah. So,
like
yeah. So I went Gardner, Kansas up to Nebraska, over to Ames, and straight shot down.
Oh no, yeah, that
Springfield.
all tracked, but then it's like,
yeah. Well, and I stopped and saw Christian at Just for Him.
good shop.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit in that shop.
Yeah, Just for Him is a very cool shop.
Think like if you were going to open a shop and have nothing but man stuff in there without an FFL, and he's probably got it.
Yeah,
like
it's
he's
like
got,
it's like straight razors and cool leather goods, and it's like all that kind of shit. It's a cool store, and
That's cool.
It has a humidor in it. Like it's
2 little baby smoking lounges. So
it's a cool shop.
Yeah, it is.
It's a cool shop, and the couple that runs it is super awesome. Their manager's great. Just for Him is a super cool store.
Yeah,
Nice. Where's that at now?
Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
They do well though.
Yeah,
It's a good store.
they don't carry Warfighter yet, but
You're working on them.
well, I dropped some cigars off, and I was like, yeah, I said I was in town and figured I'd stop and give you some cigars, and he just looks me full in the face. He's like, it's Christmas. we're busy. And I'm like, I know. This is actually my vacation, so I just figured I was going to be in town. I'd drop by. He goes, oh, okay. So gave him my info, and if he follows up, he follows up. So I'll hit him after the first year, see what he thought about the cigars.
They're good people.
Yeah. So
They're good people. What I like about doing business with them is actually great because they're super straightforward. Like that.
Yeah.
You showed him, he was like, it's Christmas. I'm busy. I do not have time to talk to you. And it's yep, nope, that's fine.
Yep.
Like,
that's what I told him. I was like,
and they just do business that way. Like
I was here to drop some cigars off. I wanted to check the place out and go from there. But that was 3,250 miles in 17 days, and I didn't drive anywhere for 2.5 of those days. So lots of windshield time. But stopped into Shillingbridge, as one does.
Got to. Shout out Dallas.
Yeah. Except the Irish coffee dark chocolate stout was still fermenting when I went in. So y'all didn't get any. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. We still love him.
Yeah.
That stuff is fucking amazing, though.
actually, I got a beer at the bar that like only 3 bars got it or whatever. And fuck, it's so good. It's a Belgian quad, but it's a bottle fermented Christmas ale. It's like 12.5%.
Yeah, it's almost brandy wine.
But it's in it only comes in 750s. It's so fucking good though.
I fucking miss Belgian beer so much.
I've got a really good one at the bar.
Yeah.
This one's done right. Like it's all like sourced proper.
Yeah.
It's done right. And was bottle fermented. They put the crafting sugar in it so that it would ferment in the bottle. And that's what gives it its carbonation. And oh God, it's
You know what, fellas? I got a question for you.
crafted proper.
Speaking of Europe, Haley and I were talking this morning.
Sir, it's pronounced yerp.
Oh, sorry. We're going to do a Europe trip at some point in the future. And she's like, but I know we're not going to be able to hit everything that we both want to see. You know, and because, like, you know, just realistically speaking, like, we got about 2 weeks.
Okay.
That we'll be able to push in there.
You get a lot done in 2 weeks.
You can do quite a bit in 2 weeks. Absolutely. Right?
The Eurorail is a majestic and amazing tool.
Yeah.
Like you can.
Same with Ryanair.
Yeah.
But if you guys were going to go and, like, plan it, because, like, there's certain places I don't need to fucking see, right? Like, I don't need to see England at all. All right. Ireland, that's a trip on itself. I wouldn't go there. I'm just talking about the continental fucking Euro trip, right? I'd like to see Rome, you know.
Honestly, fly into Italy and fly out of England and just use the Eurorail and just see the whole thing on the way through and then just fly back out.
Really?
And you'll see everything.
Like,
you'll also see that the majority of it doesn't take near as long as you think it does.
No.
Yeah.
So, like,
you're going to pop out and be like, that's a church.
I had to explain that to a friend of mine when I was living in Nebraska because he's like, why don't Americans travel more? And I'm like, let me explain something to you. If you get in your car and you drive 2 hours west, what are you doing? He's like, well, I cross through. He's like, I go through, I leave my country and I go into this country and then I wind up in this country. And I'm like, yeah, if I drive 2 hours west, I'm in the middle of my state.
Yeah, right.
That depends on when I leave, because if I drive 2 hours west and there's traffic, I've made it to like Fredericksburg.
You're so pretty, bro.
No, but you got to realize, like, what I was living in Nebraska at that point, so like 2 hours
sure.
west for me was like Lincoln to Hastings.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. You know, people's like, why don't Americans travel and whatever? And it's like, you know, I could pick up all of France and put it inside of Texas.
Right.
Yes.
There's a website. It's called like actualsize.com
Yeah, and you
or
can
something.
like move the states around you can move shit around, and almost everything in Europe fits inside Texas. Like you can take any country, it fits inside our state.
My favorite is the one that they took the outline of Connecticut and put it over Houston, and it didn't cover the entirety of Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, for Europe, like, I mean, we can talk offline about it too, but there's a lot of places like Verona in Italy is really cool.
Yeah.
What's that little fucking island everyone wants to go to?
Santorini.
No, it's the Romeo and Juliet. The fucking.
That's where Verona.
No, it's not Verona. It's
Oh no, sorry, Santorini's Greece.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Santorini's the volcanic island in Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go there. Venice.
Oh, okay.
Venice, like,
okay,
afternoon.
I don't know if I would have I don't know if I would have described Venice as an island. Technically, you were correct.
Technically, it is.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. But if you'd have been
It's
like,
not like an
what's
island
the
on its
city
own?
that's got
There's
all the
like-
fucking canals and the
there's-
gondola
yeah.
boats that go
There
back and
is
forth that are like
literally-
Venice?
Venice.
But you're
There's
like,
literally a shit creek that
Yeah.
separates it from mainland.
yeah, it is.
Like,
You
it
take a
is
train from mainland to
technically-
Venice, and like as soon as you get on that bridge, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, what the fuck was that?
Technically, it is an
It's all
island.
poop.
And it's all on stilts. Like it's all
Yeah.
so.
Like it's cool to see. Don't get me wrong,
Like,
yeah.
but like
I would like to see Venice just from the Indiana Jones aspect, man.
I mean,
like, yeah.
Here's the number one thing people tell me they're going to go to Europe, and it's like, are you going because you actually want to see history, or are you going because you want to drink in a foreign land? Because it's a lot cheaper just to fly to Canada.
if you want to drink in foreign land,
True.
go to Brussels.
Oh, 100%.
And right next to the Grand Place, there's a street, and it's called the Delirium Street. And the Delirium beer,
Mm-hmm.
I've had
right?
it.
So they have a bar, and they hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the most amount of beer served in one place at one time. And the last time they held the record was 2002 or 2003 different beers. So you ask for a menu, and they hand you one sheet, and you're like, no, I want the full menu. They give you a book.
Yeah.
I have the book. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But next to that beer bar, they have a vodka bar, they have a gin bar, they have a rum bar, they have a whiskey bar, they have an absinthe bar, all down this one fucking alley.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you told us about your crawl that time.
Oh, yeah.
And you ended at the absinthe
ended
bar.
the absinthe bar.
But that's the actual question. Is like, are you going because
No,
you
I'm
actually
going
want
there
to
for the
see
history
you want to see
aspect.
shit, or are you just going because it's like
I want to go and see shit.
I'm gonna go get hammered in Europe because that's a
Yeah.
real quick way to get arrested.
Yeah, dude, I'm in my
'Cause-
40s now. Like, nah.
Now, in
Like,
Belgium, you can pee anywhere you want as long as nobody sees your dick. Every other country, you can't do that.
Paris.
You're not supposed. It's not legal.
Nobody's gonna arrest you.
Like if you're driving on the highway in Belgium and you see a car pulled over, it's because the guy's taking a piss. It's not because he has car problems.
right.
He just doesn't want to go to the next exit, so he's like, "Fuck it," and just pulls over, gets out, pees, gets back in his car.
Wait a
and
minute, you're
keeps
not
going.
supposed to do that?
I mean, we do that here.
Yeah, but like you,
Because that's when I
literally-
just opened like both doors on the truck and stand between them.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
anywhere in Belgium, you can pee wherever the fuck you want,
You
as
can.
long as
Yeah.
somebody's not.
It's
looking
actually
at
the
your
only thing I miss about my GMC Sierra that I used to have because it had the fucking suicide
the little
fucking
back suicide
door.
door.
And I could literally I could take a shit. I could close it in on myself and just sit on the running board and take a shit if I wanted to. Like, it's fucking convenience, man.
But you need to keep in mind too that Europe are beer drinkers.
yeah.
dick.
So the American style of drinking, when you're going to go over there and pound whiskey and get fucking hammered, you're just going to jail. Or like,
Sure.
it's not going to be like, oh, look at you, you funny American.
Ice is hard to come by.
Yeah.
There are no free refills.
Yep.
You're barely any fountain sodas. You get a can.
Yeah, it's just, but that's
Like
just
it's
it.
just everything's very
I
weird.
don't want to go over there to get fucked up. I want to go over there and see history, man. Like, I'd like to
Yeah.
see Rome. I'd like to
Skip
go to the
Germany,
I'd like
there's
to go to the
nothing left.
Vatican, right? No, you know.
And I'm not trying to be a smartass. It's just,
Well, I've also been to Germany, so it's like,
but there's nothing left. Like between two full world wars and the fact that they were trying to reinvent themselves so many times, they destroyed everything.
yeah.
Like there's nothing fucking left. So you can skip Germany entirely.
France, I'm going for the 80th of Normandy, anyways.
You got to go to Bastogne, Belgium.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Love to do that. Which I believe, actually, I think today's the anniversary of Bastogne.
I think it was a couple days ago. So this start.
Okay.
I think it was the 16th.
Yeah, it was last week. It was
Yeah.
when because Batman was over there.
Oh, that's
Vince
right.
And,
That's right.
With Vince and everybody else.
That's
Vince
right.
Franza was over there.
Yeah,
That's
that was
right.
the start
Yeah.
of the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind
Wow.
going to Bastogne just to see.
Yeah. But if you
Um,
like history wise, like a lot of World War II stuff would be really fucking, it would be, in my opinion, it'd be cooler than going to see some of the cities. Like I would rather go to Normandy than go to Paris.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I'm doing for the 80th anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and see all of the stuff in France anyways. So, that's not really high on my list because I'm already going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's how I know I like smoked meats more. Because the whole idea of like, we should spend thousands of dollars to go look at a grassy field. I'd be like, yeah, no.
Goes two ways, man. One of two ways.
Nope. Like, because you can stand there and be like, so
Yeah.
a century ago there was dudes here, huh? That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, it'd
You
be
see,
like,
you see that little dip? That used to be a foxhole.
yeah. I'd be like, holy shit, you know what it is now? Fucking field. I'm pretty sure that's a McDonald's. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Amsterdam,
Yeah.
it's just fun.
yeah, no, there's certain cities that are worth going because those cities actually have their own culture.
Yeah,
so it's
sure.
worth seeing those cities. Like my wife's a big Francophile.
Uh-huh.
So we want to take a trip to France, but to actually move around France. But we're going to spend like half a day in Paris because there's some things in Paris I want to see. I also went to film school, and that's like where moving pictures started. Yep. The Lumiere brothers were in Paris. They invented the camera. Well, a moving picture camera.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see Notre Dame, and then like I'll walk the Louvre.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's like a whopping half a day that I just described, and then we need to get the fuck out of Paris.
Right.
It's
the most disappointing part of going to the Louvre is seeing the Mona Lisa.
It's this big.
It literally,
it's
that big.
It looks like an 8x10,
and you're fighting 500 people to get there.
Yeah.
No, it is legit an 11x14.
Yeah.
That is a tiny little picture. The problem is that Americans have always seen like it as a poster.
I used to have one that was like a fucking 4x6.
Right. Yeah. But it's been ginormousized. Like it's not actually that size.
I saw the real one. I'm like, what?
See, and honestly, I would be more interested in like Madonna on the Rocks and fucking like, some of Da Vinci's other works, because.
But see, I like Da Vinci's sketches. I'm not a big fan of his paintwork.
Mm-hmm. Like that Vitruvian Man.
Yes.
Good heart.
Like the Vitruvian Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. There's a bunch of other like mechanical sketches and shit that he did, but sure.
Yeah, that one.
But that one.
That one is also. Yeah, but you can't make a dick joke out of the mechanical sketches.
Some of them.
I don't know. He made a helicopter that looked like it could do some work.
That's true.
But the rest of it, like once you get outside of it, you can literally go on these giant wine tours, and it's all done by train, and you go from like region to region, and you drink on the train.
One place to go in Germany, Mosel River Valley. That's like their wine country of Germany.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I've had some of the best wines I've had.
And then in Germany and Belgium, you can do the monasteries, and you can go drink at the monasteries.
Well, that'd be cool.
You can drink all the beers.
Yeah, all the Trappist. Mm-hmm.
So those are dope.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
don't know. Haley wants to go to Switzerland as well, just to see it. Just because it's beautiful fucking.
I did a Christmas
stuff.
in Switzerland once.
Did you?
It's pretty.
It's
very Christmassy.
It looks very pretty. It looks very Christmassy. Yeah.
Right, I mean, it is.
And their flag's a big plus.
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Europe's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's also been so fucking.
You're welcome, Justin.
It's been so Americanized at this point too that it's you see a lot of the same shit. It's just slightly off.
Like you said, there's a McDonald's.
Every major city is a tourist trap.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Well, I think countryside, and I like the idea of the rail system just because you see a little countryside.
Well, no. Here's the beautiful thing about the Euro.
that.
Don't be on it during the day.
Yeah.
Because what you can do is you can time it to where you can be in a country, you can see shit, you can get on the plane, you can get on the train, go to sleep, and you wake up and you're at the next place. And then you go and you do your tourist thing and you get back to the train and you get on it and you go to sleep and you wake up.
Okay.
So that way you're not staying in hotels and not doing anything.
Yeah.
You can just sleep on the train, and that covers your travel so that you're not spending your daytime traveling.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually spend your daytime doing shit. Caitlin lived there for like going on a year. So
yeah, the trains are nice.
The Eurail system is, and you can buy time passes. So they have an annual pass, a one-trip pass, and they have time passes.
Yeah, you can
buy
like
a 2-week window, and it's unlimited on and off.
Yeah.
So so if you decide like, no, we're going to stay in the city an extra day, you didn't miss your train. Like you just get on it the next day.
Yeah.
You just have that. You have the pass for that long, and it lets a little bit more organic travel.
Man, I bet the conductors on those fucking trains are just like, oh, I'm tired of being here.
Well, some of I took a train from it went from Paris, France to London, and it was one of the high speed trains. It goes like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and it was cool because I'm like, this is going to be fucking awesome. You have no idea. You're going 200 plus miles an hour.
Sure,
no, you don't feel it at all.
They're so quiet
until you go into a tunnel, and then your ears pop.
Yeah,
just because of the pressure change. Like
the speed of it passing through the tunnel actually creates like a bubble.
Yeah,
it's a partial vacuum inside.
It's a partial vacuum inside. I mean, it's
nice callback.
it's cool, but what I will say is, if you're gonna go to Europe, don't go expecting that you're gonna get like when people travel and they come back and they're different because of like the culture exchange. Very little of that when you go to Europe.
She's talking different.
Like very little of that when you go to Europe.
It's a bit of a waffle, isn't it?
Exactly. But there's other countries I've been to that you come back and you're like, wow, that put some shit in perspective.
Yeah.
Like
That's usually the third world.
That's Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe will do that.
Let's go to Bratislava.
100%.
That'd be fun.
Central America.
Remember on Euro Trip, on that fucking stupid ass movie Euro Trip, they went to Bratislava
Yeah.
and he gives him like a nickel and he's like, I buy my own hotel. And he slaps him. It's like, damn.
Oh, mi scusi.
Yeah, Europe's it's cool.
Yeah.
It's Canada.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, I'm not trying to be derogatory, but literally, you go to Canada, almost have the exact same experience.
Really?
Yeah, it's very much set up the same way. Where
Okay,
it's
I've been to Canada, so.
then you've kind of been to Europe.
Oh, okay.
Quebec.
Great fishing in Quebec.
Love the fishing in Quebec.
I fucking hate Quebec.
No, but so you've been to Canada, so you realize that it's like all of this is very familiar, just slightly off. It's like that's most of Europe. It's like
just a little backwards.
yeah, it's like I know all of this. Like you're gonna recognize all the shops, all the brands, all the everything. They're all there. It's things like the gas stations are gonna be called different shit. The grocery stores are gonna have different names and shit like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
the Carrefour.
The
Petrol.
yeah, you'll have petrol stations.
If you want to use the bathroom at Burger King, cost you €1.
Also true. Yeah, I mean it's just everything's just slightly off, but most of it will be very familiar. And then a lot of your restaurants and bars are just older.
Yeah.
But you've also lived on the Eastern Seaboard where like you can go to places that legitimately have history.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
If you're going to sit down at a restaurant, set aside about 3 hours.
mm-hmm.
Nothing.
And don't get all
It's
pissy
fast.
because your server wasn't like, did everything taste okay?
Yeah.
Like when they disappear for an hour,
They give 0 fucks.
you come back like, where the fuck you been, man? They're gonna be like, my fucking job. Like,
Yeah.
and just because you're an American, they don't give a fuck.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's
From what
that
I understand,
American
outside of-
arrogance, that's
outside
just a
of-
problem everywhere.
From what I understand, except for Normandy, apparently if you go to Normandy, they fucking love Americans.
Mhm.
They're like about it. Like still fly the American flag there in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that could get fucking old too.
Yeah. It's kind of like being in Texas. Normandy's like the Texas of Europe. They buy their own merch and shit. Be like, is that a Buc-ee's? What the fuck? Le Buc-ee's.
Oh, they wouldn't know what to do if a Buc-ee's fucking
It'd be
moved
Le
into Europe.
Bousses.
Le Bousses. Yeah. They
Fucking-
wouldn't know what to do.
Hot brisket on the board. Every time, and I don't know if he still listens, but every time I shit in a Buc-ee's, I think of you, Rob. Every time. I always think of you. Because I know you used to clean those shitters. For those of you who are the old school listeners of the show, we had a producer in the early days, along with Justin, named Rob, who
Clean Bucky shitters.
he cleaned Bucky shitters at a
Yep.
certain point in life. Yeah.
Now his wife's a doctor. So.
Yeah, now he's just living it up as house husband.
No, I think he works still.
He still works.
Yeah, he does something.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't-
also
just doesn't need to.
makes really good money. So
Yeah.
they're
he got a much better gig too.
Yeah, they're crushing.
They're killing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're crushing. Worth it.
They operating on that dink philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to live. I had a friend that came over last night. He's got 3 kids and an ex-wife, and he was at my house, and he was like, "I wish I had this," and I was like, "Should have pulled out."
It is a thing.
Because I have never looked at my hobbies and been like, "Damn, I wish I could give all this up for a kid." But I hear parents all the time. They're like, "Damn, I wish I had all this." And it's like, I've never heard the trade the other way.
No.
I don't know. I don't feel like I gave up too many hobbies when I have kids. Because I'm.
You also have an amazing wife.
Yeah.
That's also true. That's also very, very true. Well, that's the thing is stop putting your dick in fucking morons. That's the fucking fact of the matter. Like,
No, you should just let
unfortunately,
morons put your dick in you.
only if
Equal
it's in
opportunity.
the shower. In the shower, man. In the shower.
It's the way I view it with your wife. Like he's like, "Don't put your dick in morons," and Haley's like, So it's just putting morons in me? Like, is it a...
Can we stop calling me fucking stupid? All right, can we fucking stop? Like, I'll take the Pepsi challenge. Like I'm not smarter than Jazz, and John's a pretty fucking smart cookie, and Scott's fucking brilliant too, and Dave, you're not dumb, but I don't know where the fuck it came up that I'm the dumb one on the fucking podcast, man. All right? like, and I'm starting to get a little fucking annoyed by it. All right, as I break my shit, because there are certain bugaboos in my life. We'll talk about it. One of the bugaboos that I don't like, one of the things that just irks me, is I don't like being
grind your gears.
It grinds my gears. I don't like being talked down to because I've been next to nothing and I'll never be it again. And I don't like being talked to like I'm fucking stupid because I'm not. And for whatever fucking reason, some of you motherfuckers out there seem to think that because the guy says the word fuck a lot, that I'm not fucking smart for whatever reason. And it's starting to get on my tits. So, like, fucking annoying me.
On my tits.
Right? Or my moobs. Moobs?
Tomato.
Yeah.
I have a question. What's the Pepsi challenge?
Oh, you're too young for that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Back in the 80s, it was a joke. There was like
it was an ad campaign.
It was an
ad campaign when Pepsi was trying to get market share from Coke.
Uh-huh.
And they did this whole Pepsi challenge. So you'd walk up and there was 2 clear glasses that each had brown sugar water in it.
He's not wrong on any of this.
And you try to
accurate.
And then the census taker sitting behind the table would go, which one do you find more enjoyable? One was Coke, one was Pepsi. And what they do is that the 1 out of 10 people that pointed at the Pepsi thing, they made it on the commercial where they were like, well, it's that one. And they're like, surprise, it's Pepsi.
Because as we all fucking know,
Coke just fucking wipes the floor with them. And I don't even
Every
drink
time.
soda. And I can tell you right now.
yeah.
Like Coke just crushes.
Yeah.
Like, that's why every time you go to a restaurant and they're like, you would get something to drink? And you're like, yeah, can I get a Coke? And they're like, oh, Pepsi, is that okay?
You're like, I'll take a sweet tea.
Anytime you go to a restaurant and they have to ask you if it's okay that they give you something other than Coke, that kind of lets you know.
My response to that is Monopoly money okay?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
They didn't ask you for it.
Can I pay you in rubles?
Yeah. It's so,
Okay.
but it was this thing called the Pepsi challenge. And it was essentially Pepsi trying to say, like, if you just give us a shot, you might like it. And it turns out it didn't work.
And now it's just used as an analogy by middle-aged dudes. You'll get there someday, pal.
Fair.
So,
He's going to dab one day in his 40s and the 15-year-old kid next to him, you're like, what the fuck did you just do?
Y'all have like ad campaigns and shit to explain. I'm gonna have to explain the dumb fucking TikTok dances.
well, I think that actually, it's kind of interesting, right? Because we're talking about like the Pepsi challenge, which just became like a colloquialism and all that kind of stuff. But it's because stuff in that era, and really up until the early 2000s, stuff had like multi-year things that it held on to.
That's not a thing anymore.
Now it's like 60 days and it's gone.
That's if you do a
Like
good
60
job.
minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's if it actually like holds on and becomes a
Yeah.
real trend. You get like 60 days. And that's a trend now.
Because I remember like there was one where I made a TikTok video or something, and some dude commented, was like, you're about like a year behind this trend or something. And I was like, bro, go fuck yourself. Like, just, like,
That's
eat
what's
shit.
that's
But
what's
it's going to be
wild.
interesting as it goes on, because it's going to be like, your generation, where the fuck is the culture impact other than just consumable?
It's
that,
rotating.
It's that 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. And
it's
it is
just-
now trickling down into everything else in life.
The culture contribution is quite literally soundbite. Like that's
Yeah. Well, it's like y'all had traditions and society norms and stuff that stuck around for a minute.
Well, there's one thing you don't do,
Mine's-
Jazz.
you know, fuck with tradition.
Damn.
Fucking true. But like mine, it's whatever the fuck is new. If it's new, you're on it. And
Yeah.
it's what's even wilder is, like you said, if you're late to it, then you're also looked down on.
Yeah.
It is only if you are in the know right now when it's popular. As soon as it's off and you try to get on that train,
The
go fuck
only
yourself.
thing I'm trying to figure out is how your generation is going to deal with the crippling debt of spending the money to keep up with these trends. Because we're not talking about inexpensive trends.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like you look at like car scene trends,
Mhm.
and it's not like, oh, well,
Like-
it went from wide tires to skinny tires or something. It's like, oh, it went from you take a shell and put that on a whole nother car to let's buy Viper engines and stuff them in a Honda. And it's like, so this trend that's going to be around for the next, oh shit, it's gone. Fucking
Fuck, I didn't even get my car finished.
that just cost you fucking 25 G's.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
Like,
honestly,
where's the beef to
How are
cripple
you-
the economy?
yeah, like,
You know what I mean? Like,
how are you people paying for this?
Well,
Like, I
I
don't
think-
understand.
I think because another one of the trends right now is like the Mr. Beast and have y'all heard of Whistling Diesel?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's the Mr. Beast of the car community.
he is a fucking idiot.
He's fucking wild. But they straight up will say like we spend $100, $200, $500,000 for the video, and people are like, well,
There's been
that's
multiple
what
interviews
you
with
have to
Mr.
do
Beast
now.
who literally
Yeah.
says like, at the end of the year, we actually show that we're net zero.
Yeah.
Everything that we make. So if we made 4 million on YouTube on
Yeah.
this week, we spent 4 million on the next week.
Yep.
Like it's
Absolutely.
just a constant cycle over.
Yep.
But you have to have everything
But
in a
I'm
row
trying
to
to
be
figure
able
out how
to
the
do that
non
shit.
Mr. Beasts are doing this shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm watching these trends, just going like, how the fuck are you affording this? Like I don't.
I want to see their credit scores.
No shit.
Congratulations, you got a 200. It's like what the fuck, man?
Let's do a new trend. Let's see how many people can get their credit above 800.
Right? Like that should be a trend that people actually go for.
Yeah, because they lifted it. It goes to 850 now.
Yeah, it used to be
850.
800. Used to be the
800 was the
fucking-
cap,
Yeah,
and
now
now
it's
it's 850.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I bought the Toyota, when I bought the truck, and they ran my credit, I was like, "How we looking?" And they told me, and it was above 800, and I was like, "I can do that."
Well, it's like
When
I
did that
found out
change?
after I got out of high school that you could get higher than a 4.0. And I was like,
Yeah.
how do you get better than straight A's? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I got 100 on everything. That means I didn't miss a single answer, but I could have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
How?
it,
How
it,
did
don't
I
get me
do
wrong.
better?
it comes down to AP classes.
I was
That's-
not a 4.0 student, and I was an AP.
I was
not a 4.0 student.
It was
But
barely half of that.
even then, 4.0 was still, it didn't matter that you were AP or whatever. You're a perfect student.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me there was better than that?
Well, I graduated with a 4.5 because of AP classes.
That doesn't even make sense.
I graduated
I agree.
with a 4.0 from MMI.
Nice. That's like, it always bugged me on the PT test that you could get above a 300.
The extended scale.
It was like,
Yeah.
I was like, no,
I thought a
no,
300 was perfect, man.
this was max. And now you're like, yeah, but there's a guy that did more than max. I'm like, that's
Good
not
for fucking him. He
then-
still got a 300.
then that's actually the max. Like you can't.
Yeah. If the max I can get is 100 points for this fucking exercise, this
It's
fucking
like, okay,
part,
I want everything. I want all the points that I scored over 300 to go towards my promotion points.
Yeah. I'd be doing fucking
You know what? I want all the ones
crunches for
above my
days, man.
300 to go to the next PT test. I want to start.
Can I give them this?
I want it to roll over. So I got a 318. Cool. I'm starting the next one at 18.
fucking A, man.
Can I gift them to my battle buddy?
Is it like frequent flyer miles?
Steve over there in a Fat Boy program. Here's 40 points, bud.
I was talking to my little cousin who recently commissioned, and he was talking about how when he went to air assault school, and he was telling me like yeah, I hit like a 280 on my PT test, and I was like, fucking why? And he was like, well, like it just looks better. I was like, no, dude, you hit the minimum at schools. That shit doesn't stick around with you.
Yeah.
You do the minimum, and then you stand up and wait for the next fucking
So,
iteration.
we had a unit wide standard essentially, and it was our minimum was a 270, 90% in each category.
Yeah.
And if we got less than that, then you're pretty much a shitbag.
But
Which
you know
is
what?
funny.
For an air assault infantry unit, I get why the unit would come down and be like,
Yeah, but they cared about your school tests. Like if
Really?
you went to air
Oh, that's
assault or you went to
fucked.
even
Oh,
like
wow.
leadership schools, PLDC or ANOC or BNOC or whatever the fuck it was, if you got below that 270 and it got back to the unit, you're a fucking shitbag.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was kind of
wow.
now the percentage of guys in my unit that got below a 270 were fucking minuscule, you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like something that people really had to
Yeah,
worry
but that
about.
was one of the best part about going to school.
You didn't have to do fuck all.
Is that you
like,
could go
what
and
is
it was like-
1730 was like you're passing on the 2 mile.
All I know is
It'd
that
be
if
like
I went to a
1726, and I'm like,
everything in my head every time I went to a school, because it was always the exit PT test at the school,
Yeah.
was that it's a go no go exercise, which meant 210. I needed a 70 in every one, 210 for me to get out of the school. And because all they did was they looked at the form and there was a little checkbox at the bottom and they just said go or no go. And a 211 was go.
Fucking A.
And that's all that fucking mattered. And that was one of the best parts, especially if you got like an 8-week school and you were like, hell yeah.
Well, like I know, like sergeant's course in the Marines, they would do like integrity checks basically because you would have to have a current PFT to go to the school.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, all right, we're going to check the integrity of your, and it's almost a check on the unit as well as yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make
You know
sure
what
they
I mean?
didn't essentially just waiver you in.
Yeah. So you would do an initial PFT. And then
And arrival PFT.
You do the initial arrival PFT, and then you would do a final PFT for each class, right? And what they would do, they use that one. They did like a most improved type of thing. They would do like, hey, this guy improved from this to this. Okay, so they used it as a positive, but they were also, and what they don't tell you is they're checking your fucking integrity and your unit integrity because the sergeant major of the schoolhouse, on the grand scheme of things, is higher than the sergeant major at all the fucking divisions and stuff, right? Because he's closer to the general of the base. So he could go in there and literally audit your fucking 3 shop.
Oh, I
and
saw
like
it.
fuck you over, like fuck your unit over.
I also know
So,
that we did it.
yeah.
We would absolutely do this whole, like, we got to make sure you get into the schoolhouse. What was your last PT test? And I was like, 240. And I was like, 270? That sounds fucking great.
Yep.
And you just, and then send the shit off.
Yeah.
But we also knew that, at least while I was in, 210 was go.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey,
Oh, if it had been go, no go, bro. Fucking,
so it was just like, so then it turned into like, you had a 240. All right, we're going to do a 270 because that's going to get you in. Don't fucking fail. Like, so
do you guys, is there classes in PFTs? So it's like we had like a first class, second class, and third
ABC.
class PFT.
ABC.
Like, 'cause for us, like for your both below 27 years old, like a 225 and above was a first class PFT.
We had age
200 to
brackets
that.
and they scored the points differently based on the age bracket you're in.
Oh, okay.
So like,
So
Oh,
our
yeah,
points
breaking
stayed the
27
same.
was awesome.
it
fuck
dropped big time.
All of a sudden it was like 3 minutes more on my run. And I was like, hell yeah.
Ours was like at above 27, a 200 is a first class. So I was like, I'm walking this bitch. It was like shit.
So at least with us, the only thing that it impacted was for PT, you had run groups. You had A, B, and C run groups.
Yeah.
And the guys that were running fucking 12-minute 2 miles, they were
Fucking
all
rabbits.
A. They were all A group, and they'd all run together. And so then you kind of pushed people that were like
Right.
C runners, and it was like,
You're
you
running
want to
B
trade
group
with the B?
today.
Yeah, and it was like, you're in B group today. And I was like, no. I was like, no. The only way to get better at running is to run more.
Yeah.
And
Or
the
lose
first
weight.
time I had to say that line to somebody, I throw up my mouth a little bit because I fucking hate running. Like I can't stand running.
I know. Dude, I ran a 3 shop for a battalion, and I
Nope.
was like, I
Fucking
feel like the biggest
hate running.
hypocrite on
Yeah.
the planet because I ain't doing any of this shit.
But yeah, when I went to PLDC, we had an entry PT test. So you showed up and had to do a PT test like the morning after we arrived.
yeah, it's like the first thing you do because they would look. If you failed, you got fucking dropped.
What was yours
Like-
called?
What's
Your
that?
sergeant school.
Oh,
It wasn't called PLDC by the time you did it.
BLC.
Yeah.
Basic leadership course.
Did you do a PT test when you first arrived?
I did. We had our
Like you show up, you check in, like the next morning it's a PT test.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was both for BLC and airborne school.
Yeah.
Was we had
Yeah.
Well, that makes
like
sense.
the day after you show up, it's like, all right, are you fucked up or no?
I never went to leadership school.
It's fucking.
I got out
cake.
as an E5 sergeant. I
Yeah.
had fucking, I don't know, a year or some change time in grade.
Yeah.
And, but I got promoted in Iraq.
Yeah, that's why.
And then
Yeah.
when we got back,
Get that combat waiver, dog.
No. So you're supposed to go to PLDC, BLC, WLC. It's changed
Yeah.
names so many times within a year of making rank.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But what they don't talk about is that year timer is actually a garrison timer.
Oh.
So if you make rank in the box,
Yep.
your timer doesn't start
Until
till
you
you
get
make
back.
it back to garrison.
Gotcha.
So we got back to Garrison, and I just snuck under the radar for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And then
didn't say-
ETS'd and-
I didn't
and
say
that was it,
fuck
yeah.
all. And then the unit got caught up with like all the paperwork side of
Like,
bullshit.
Simons, you gotta go to PLDC
Exactly.
and be like, this is my checkout sheet.
No, I was like, I signed out on terminal leave in 48 days, so we're not doing that.
When I went to BLC, it was in that transition period where even if you were a 5 and you exited that window, you automatically got kicked down to an E4 and
Yep.
not even like a specialist. if you were a corporal, you had the same time frame to get
Really?
BLC knocked out, or else you went back down to a specialist.
Really?
Yeah.
So I made corporal, but I didn't have the requirement. But to make E5, I had to do. It was supposed to be within a year. I might have been
And a lot of times they
40
make you go
days
to
or some shit,
PLDC or BLC or whatever the
beforehand.
fuck it's called. And then when you graduate is when you get pinned.
Yeah.
You're E5.
Yeah,
Or-
I went as a specialist,
Yeah.
and like 4 or 6 months later, I got my E5.
Yeah, so a lot of times now they're sending 4s that they know are going to go
Yeah,
to board,
you get
and they'll
E4P.
send them, and they're just like, let's just get it out of the way.
Like we do corporal's course, but it's not. At least I don't know if it is now, but it didn't used to be a legit prerequisite. You got promotion points towards it. Like, well, you went to corporal's course, all right, you get like an extra 25 fucking points or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't like
Yeah, it's still school.
yeah, it wasn't like a prerequisite.
Yeah.
But
Or all those fucking online courses that we used to just push people through because
ERMU, whatever the fuck.
you got fucking promotion points for it. So
Fucked
you'd look
up
at a
thing
dude
is,
that was like,
those
"What do you need to get
are
promoted?
required.
70 points. Sit
Okay.
the fuck down."
Yeah. Here's a laptop.
Dude,
Like-
the problem with those, because we have MCIs, Marine Corps Institute, fucking does like for like Lance Corporals and below. There's like these 5 that you have to hit. Corporals had to do the 8,000 series. Sergeants had to do the 7,000 series. It was like they had like these series of things, right? Cool thing is that it actually came out down, and when I went to college, I got credit for them. Surprisingly, they were like, "Oh yeah, you get fucking like a quarter credit for all this shit." So my Marine Corps training and annual training and shit actually helped me in my degree
that
plan
stuff.
eventually.
No, 100%. I think I got 27 hours
Yeah, it was something
given to
it
me
was
from being in the
like,
military,
It
and it
knocked
was
off like a fucking like a
I didn't
semester
get
or something.
shit.
yeah. It was like
They're like, oh, you were infantry? Yeah. So you're going to start with math 101?
but you don't have to take any of your fucking physical
There's no
fitness
phys ed
classes.
courses, yeah.
Because like
no
you get
PE
a,
for you.
waiver on
you
those.
get a phys ed credit for boot camp.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't even get that.
yeah, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to
I
get
didn't
3
get
hours
shit.
at like every accredited university is supposed to give you your PE credit.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I had like 27 hours for all the fucking weird ass courses.
I know it cut down like an entire semester, like from 15 years of doing the shit.
And mine was like almost
Like-
like I entered college as a sophomore.
Yeah, same.
It was wild. It was
Same.
like
Never mind.
I mean, that's why I only did undergrad. I only did 2 years.
what MMI didn't have that freshman sophomore ranking.
No. None of that. No, and that was funny. That was like when I went to MMI, a friend of mine was like, I want to go do this. He's like, do you want to go do this? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Fucking maybe. Like I already wrench on my own shit, but it'd be nice to know the right way to do it. And he's like, fucking come sign up with me. I'm like, I'll go check it out. So I went up there with him and sat down and talked to him. They're like, yeah, your GI Bill can cover this. And I was like, what? I'm like, really? I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll sign up.
Well, yeah, if you don't have to pay for it,
No,
fucking
and
A.
then not even, I think it was like a couple days before I even started, I realized that Voc Rehab is a program that MMI falls under.
And they'd have bought your toolbox.
And they
did.
So I transitioned from the GI Bill to Voc Rehab, which is a fucking nightmare. But I got it done.
Yep.
And it was funny because like halfway through, like he's almost failing out of it. Like, but when he graduated, he didn't get any of his certs.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like because you can go through MMI, the whole fucking thing, and not be a certified factory mechanic without getting a Harley cert or a Honda cert or whatever brand you're trying to get a cert from, because you didn't pass their test.
Which is where all the money's at. Otherwise, you're at like Bob's Garage. And
But no, and the reason they do that is
Bob's
because
Garage?
it's a for-profit school, you know.
Yeah.
And it's same with DeVry when they do like you can get a Ford cert, or you can just go to the school and not pass and get the Ford cert,
Yeah.
and then you just went to the school,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's pretty funny. There's a lot of people that didn't get factory certs, a lot, and I think that MMI or UTI, their parent company, actually got in a lot of fucking trouble because they were
Yeah.
a lot of fucking trouble.
My brother went to UTI briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to give him shit about urinary tract infection.
Yeah.
I used to fuck with him.
But yeah, I was a Honda and Harley certified mechanic. And I mean, in theory, it works
technically
out.
you still are.
Oh, my certs aren't valid. If you're not in a dealership for more than a year, your certs expire. But if like by getting them through MMI and doing everything that I did, I'd started a dealership with 1 year experience. So I wouldn't be like technically a new guy, even though I would be a new guy. But it helps you track for your master mechanic a little bit faster.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Dave, you were a wrench for a while, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Now
wrenched on
he's
the big
just
engines.
a tool.
on the big ones.
No, we did everything. Yeah, we did everything from small engine all the way up to 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
You name it, we fucking tackled it.
Mhm.
So
Cool thing about learning the actual technical of working on any engine.
An engine's an engine.
An engine is an engine.
True.
It just
Yeah.
starts getting bigger and bigger. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
mechanically, if you can kind of if you know how they work, everything from
Yeah.
what powers your lawnmower all the way
That's
up to what's in an 18-wheeler, they're
Real
kind
simple.
of the same.
Suck,
Yeah.
squeeze, bang, blow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, because
Hey.
like I worked on Cummins 903s. It was a big fucking engine, 903 cubic inches. You know, like,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
But they're all pretty much the same.
Anything that's mechanically controlled, if you have fuel, oil, and spark, it should fucking run. And if it doesn't, it's time to start digging.
And it's almost always a problem with one of those three things.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Air, fuel, spark. If you can't
Except
have
for
2 out
now.
of 3, you need 3 out of 3.
Now I open a hood and I look around and I'm like, okay. And I just close the hood.
Because they're fucking
Just
turned
like- I'm like,
sideways
I
and
don't-
upside down and
Well,
shit.
like half the
It's
shit. Like my fucking Super Duty, to do anything serious to that engine, you have to
Yeah.
pull the whole fucking cab off it.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You can't get to it.
You can't get to anything.
They put
What
fucking,
a-
that's
what a-
the
what a-
definition of 10 pounds of shit in a 9-pound bag.
It's a fucking racket, man. It's a racket, dude.
Well, and now there's just so many computers involved that control everything that you
Yeah.
can't go in there and be like I remember my old cars and stuff like that, and it was like, the weather's changed a little bit, and I'm bogging down a little bit.
Yeah, let me
My
turn
float's
this
probably a little
screw a
off.
little.
Let me just adjust this jet, and I'll
yeah.
and it's like I'm too rich, so I'll back this jet out, and we'll be okay. Like you can't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're
like the most like, you know, computerized element on the cars I used to work on was like you'd have like a mass airflow sensor or something like that, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
like just whoop whoop, little swip and swap, right? And it was fine. Like you go to junkyard, pick one up, and fucking, you know. But yeah, not these days.
I
man.
don't know how many O2 sensors I switched out on old cars because
Right.
those
Oh,
things
yeah.
would get all bogged down, and then it was like, why is my car like shit? And it's like, go down to AutoZone, buy this $18 thing,
Yep.
and bring me a 14mm wrench. It's like,
Well, you needed to buy the $18 O2 sensor, but you needed to buy the $36 O2 sensor socket that
Yeah.
made things so much fucking nicer.
yep.
It really does.
But you only had to buy that once.
Or you get
Yes.
or you get an old one and just cut the side out of it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
That's why I'm I'm a fan of the drift scene, like the grassroots drift scene, because those dudes, they buy old shitters and then
Yeah.
they put just enough power to get it sideways
No,
and everything.
they don't put just enough power. They take
They
out
take
just
out
enough
enough
weight.
to where there's enough power for it to
True. But those guys, it's like they wreck their shit on Saturday, and then the next month
Just
until the
zip-tied
next
and duct
event,
taped together
it's
for
just,
next
how
weekend.
can we keep it as one piece until the next event? And it's cool to see. Drifting.
Yeah. Cool story.
Bro.
Well, my stick's almost down.
Yeah.
I think it's a good
I
time
got some
to
burn ends to go eat.
eat some
Yeah.
burned ends. Absolutely. So once again, it's brought to you by warfightertobacco.com. Use that code FTFO. They get you a sweet 15% off. IC Tech Coolers. Go over there, ictech.com. Use that code Freedom Friends 10. That gets you 10% off their quality
For
coolers.
those who get it.
For those who get it. And of course, wellness.us, which again came through for me again this weekend when my back was hurting. God damn, it's good.
This shit's amazing.
This shit's amazing. But go over there, go to wellness.us, use that code FreedomFriends25. That gets you a quarter off your order there. Otherwise, boys, I'm going to raise my glass. Just say thank you for being my freedom friend. Dave, as always, you sexy son of a bitch. Thanks for
Yeah.
filling in. Cheers. Cheers. 3 little things. Not hard to do. First of all, you got to tell your mom.
Tell your friends.
Tell your fucking mom's friends. And I hope you guys all have a great holiday season. Again, happy Hanukkah to the Jew-ish folks out there. And fucking great shirt. And Merry Christmas and all that stuff. And we will see you guys next week. But 3 little things. Jazz, hit them with the first one.
Smoke 'em?
John?
Drink on.
And God damn it, kids.
Freedom to fuck on.
Later.